President Zelenskyy and world leaders are striking back hard at Donald Trump as Trump goes silent. It is so utterly pathetic. 574 drones and 40 missiles were just shot into Ukraine by Russia. An American factory called Flex in Zakarpattia, in Mukachevo, the city in the Zakarpattia Oblast, was hit. It's an American factory, American owned. No statement from Donald Trump after an American factory in Western Ukraine, an area that has rarely been hit by Russia, was intentionally and purposefully attacked by Putin to send a message to Donald Trump that I'm going to do whatever I can with impunity against you. And Trump said nothing. Could you imagine if Iran or some other foreign country struck American factories with missiles and the president of the United States did not say anything? That's what's taking place right now. So let me read for you what Zelenskyy is saying. Let me read for you what French President Emmanuel Macron is saying. Let me read for you what the American Chamber of Commerce leader for Ukraine is saying. Our businesses are getting hit by Putin, and Donald Trump, you're being humiliated by Putin. It's what the American Chamber of Commerce leader is saying. I'll show you what he says, but this is what's taking place now. First, let me just show you the scenes from this factory called Flex. You see it right here. That's the American Chamber of Commerce leader right there, a guy named Andy Hunter. And you see it right there, intentionally targeted by Putin. This was in the Mukachevo region. Here's what President Zelenskyy had to say. In Mukachevo, the Russians practically burned down an American company producing electronics, home appliances, nothing military at all. The Russians knew exactly where they lobbed the missiles. We believe this was a deliberate attack against American property and investments in Ukraine. By the way, where is the American intelligence agency? Oh, wait, Tulsi Gabbard, the director of national intelligence, just fired close to 50% of our national intelligence officials, and Donald Trump has gutted our CIA. Let's go on to what Zelenskyy also says here. This was a telling attack right as the world awaits a clear answer from Russia on negotiations to end the war. There are two formats at the level of leaders where progress is feasible: bilateral, Ukraine and Russia, and trilateral, Ukraine, the US, and Russia. We discussed this in Washington. Putin spoke about it on the call with Trump. Now the signals coming from Russia are simply outrageous. They are trying to wriggle out of holding a meeting. They don't want to end this war. They continue their massive attacks on Ukraine and their ferocious assaults along the front line. They even lob missiles at an American enterprise alongside many other purely civilian targets. This is happening right at the borders of the EU and NATO. Russian attack drones entered Polish territory. There were also drone incidents in Lithuania, not accidents, Russian impudence. Just think about this. This was right at the western border area of Ukraine, a factory that does electronics, not military base. Donald Trump says he's got a great relationship with Putin, and Putin specifically targets this American factory and sends the drones also into airspace of Poland and Lithuania. Why? To send a message. Donald Trump, you're weak and you're not even going to speak out about it. If this was another test about Donald Trump, not that he needs to be tested because we know how weak and pathetic he is, Donald Trump failed it. You don't hear him say a thing about an American factory being hit. And by the way, I've said this before. Remember, I've been saying it now for a week. Not only was there no ceasefire last week, I said Putin was never in favor of any security guarantees. Remember how Trump and his regime were like, oh, Putin's okay with NATO Article 5-like security guarantees of European forces or other peacekeeping forces in Ukraine to stop Russia? I said they never agreed to that. Also, Putin never agreed to bilateral, trilateral conversations with the US, Putin, and Ukraine. Never said that once. In fact, if you listen to what they're saying on state regime media in Russia, they're saying quite the opposite of that. So I've been calling out our propaganda media here in the United States. You know, I've been doing it since Friday, and I've been saying, where are you getting this from? Trump said is where you're getting it from? Trump lies about everything. See what's happening in the world, and we're seeing it play out right now as I predicted. Zelenskyy goes on to say, we expect our partners to respond in a principled manner. This war must be brought to an end. Pressure must be exerted on Russia to end the war. Putin understands nothing but force and pressure. You get what he's saying there. We expect the United States to behave like the United States. That's basically what he's saying. That when your own factory gets attacked by a foreign invading entity, that you do something. Donald Trump doesn't even talk about it, doesn't even post about it, say anything about it. We don't hear from the State Department about it. We don't hear from our intelligence community about it. I mean, seriously, what the hell? I don't care what political party you are from. I don't care if you like politics or hate politics. You should say, wait a minute, the Russians just attacked an American factory and we don't hear anything from Donald Trump? Of course you don't. He rolled out the red carpet for Vladimir Putin and had our soldiers literally get on their freaking knees and roll out the red carpet as Donald Trump, like a little schoolboy seeing his favorite celebrity basketball player for the first time, just started clapping. It was so freaking bizarre. So yes, Zelenskyy expects our partners to respond in a principled manner. Then he goes on to say, of course, we will continue doing everything to protect our country and the people. Trump is absolutely right. This must be done not only in defense. Meanwhile, we do not slow down in diplomacy so that negotiations to bring peace closer can finally take place. And here's the thing that like Zelenskyy has to do, but clearly doesn't want to, is impute things to Donald Trump that Donald Trump is just clearly not saying. He's too weak to even call out what's happening with Russia attacking an American factory, but as Putin attacks, Zelensky's got to be like, well, you know, maybe Donald Trump was going to want to do something now. I doubt it. Then it goes on to say, Zelenskyy goes on to say, now each day carves out the contours of future security architecture for Ukraine, weapons, funds, cooperation with partners, forces on the ground, in the air, and at sea. And every day there will be new steps taken by partners to support Ukraine. Thank you, everybody, for helping. Now, here's Andy Hunter, the head of the Chamber of Commerce from the United States in Ukraine. He goes, I am at the site of a truly horrendous Russian missile attack. Overnight, one of the largest American investments in Ukraine, Flex, an active member of the American Chamber of Commerce, was hit by Russian missiles. This was not only an attack on Ukraine, it was an attack on American business. 2 missiles struck the factory where 600 employees were working the night shift. Thanks to strict safety protocols, every life was saved. Russia is not only devastating Ukraine, it is destroying and humiliating American business. Just pause there for a second. This Chamber of Commerce president is saying Russia is not only devastating Ukraine, it's humiliating American business. The region neighbors the EU and has considered the safest region in Ukraine. This region was considered the safest area of Ukraine. Now, definitely not so. Russia is not only devastating Ukraine, it is destroying and humiliating American business. We call on Trump to stand with American business and confront Vladimir Putin's campaign of destruction. Here's what Andy Hunter had to say. He's in front of the factory, the Flex factory that was just destroyed by Putin. An American factory. You'll see it for yourself. Let's play it.
So you can still see the smoke and the burning of this American investments here in Western Ukraine. We are very close to the border with the EU, and just earlier this morning, Russian missiles hit this location here. This is an American company, Flex, one of the biggest American investments here in Ukraine.
Donald Trump's attack on climate policy is already causing massive consequences. Let's switch gears and break it down for just a minute. Here's the reality no one on Fox is going to tell you, and you probably won't even hear much about this on legacy media. Your electric bill is going up because of Donald Trump. Since Trump took office, household utility bills are up 10% nationwide, and a brand new report from Climate Power just revealed that it's about to get way worse. And it's because Republicans literally took a sledgehammer to clean energy. Trump's budget bill ripped away solar and wind investments just as energy demand is surging from AI and data centers. And instead of fixing it, Trump's Treasury Department just pushed new rules sabotaging even more clean energy tax credits, meaning fewer fewer renewable projects, weaker grid, and yes, higher utility bills. Let's be super clear. Over 64,000 clean energy jobs have already been lost or stalled since Trump took office. 13,939 megawatts of energy was wiped off the grid from canceled projects, enough to power 8.4 million American homes. And the Republican rate hike will cost the average family $170 more per year in the next decade, with some states paying over $400 more. Oh, and here's the kicker. Most of those lost jobs and canceled projects are in Republican-held districts. So Trump isn't just kneecapping America's clean energy future, he is screwing over his own voters. This is a self-inflicted crisis caused by Republicans protecting their oil and gas donors. Your bill is going up because Trump wanted ExxonMobil happy. Think about that. Let people know that when they open their higher utility bill this month, they know exactly who to blame. And also, leave your thoughts about this and the climate in general in the comments. Too many politicians and talking heads in legacy media say you don't care about clean energy, so sound off and let's prove them wrong. Okay, Ben, back to you.
Then President Zelenskyy posts the following. Last night, a drone strike on another region in Sumy injured 14 people, a family with wounded children. 5 months, 4 years, and 6 years old sought assistance after the attack. Another city in the Donetsk region, a glide bomb strike damaged 5 apartment buildings, and at least 3 people still remain under the rubble. The rescue operation continues. There was also a treacherous strike on a gas distribution station in the Odessa region. Shelling also targeted in Kharkiv and Poltava. In total, more than 60 drones and a ballistic missile were used there. In total, 574 drones, 60 missiles were used. All of these are demonstrative strikes that only confirm the need to put pressure on Moscow, the need to impose new sanctions and tariffs until diplomacy is fully effective. I thank all partners who are helping to stop the Russian war. Here's the headline from The Telegraph. Russia bombs U.S. factory in one of war's largest attacks. Here's how the New York Post, Donald Trump's favorite paper, is talking about things. Put the pressure on. Putin the pressure on. The Post says, as Russia ignores peace overtures and kills more Ukrainians, Trump must ratchet up sanctions. Well, we heard from Donald Trump earlier yesterday when he was asked by a right-wing reporter. Donald Trump said he needs 2 weeks. This is what Donald Trump said yesterday. Here, play the clip.
Do you think we're going to be able to get peace in that region, Mr. President?
Well, I'll let you know in about, I would say within 2 weeks, we're going to know one way or the other.
Again, how are you doing the 2 week thing again? You've been doing the 2 week thing since January. 2 weeks, 60 days, 2 weeks, 5 days, Friday. If Putin doesn't give me a ceasefire, I'm going to impose sanctions. Oh, the meeting went great. Why would I ever put sanctions? How'd the meeting go great, Donald? Oh, well, he agreed to security guarantees and a trilateral meeting. Hey, Putin, did you agree to security guarantees by NATO-like forces in Ukraine and security guarantees, NATO-like forces, and a trilateral meeting? Nope, never agreed to that. What do you want, Putin? Oh, I want all of Ukraine. Yeah, I mean, what Reuters reported yesterday is what we've been reporting, is that he wants all of Donbass. He wants all of Zaporizhia. He wants all of the land. That's what he says. Give me the land if you want a peace deal. No security guarantees. I want to take over everything. That's all Putin ever said. This has not advanced any conversations. We are in a far worse position than we were before Donald Trump met Putin, because Donald Trump has taken ceasefire off the table. Donald Trump has taken sanctions off the table. Donald Trump has taken it all off the table. You know, fortunately, you have French President Emmanuel Macron showing leadership. I mean, here he's posting about his conversations with world leaders. He goes, I just had a conversation with Prime Minister Modi of India. We coordinated our positions on the Ukraine war to move towards a just and lasting peace with concrete security guarantees for Ukraine and security of Europe. On trade-related issues, we agreed to promote our commercial relations and further strengthen our strategic partnership in all areas. This is the key to our sovereignty and independence. In continuation of the Artificial Intelligence Action Summit held in Paris in February, we are working towards the success of the AI Impact Summit to be held in New New Delhi in 2026. For a more effective multilateralism, we have agreed to closely coordinate, keeping in mind France's presidency of the G7 and India's presidency of BRICS in 2026. Do you see what Macron just did right there? As Donald Trump has isolated, alienated, and pushed India away, pushed India closer to China and others, French President Emmanuel Macron's jumping in and talking about multilateralism, which is the opposite of Trump's America, go it alone, screw the world and screw allies even more than America screws enemies. Donald Trump got Bitcoin money from Pakistan through his family's Bitcoin company and now takes Pakistan's side over India's side, which America tried to cultivate relationships with India dating back many, many, many decades. Trump just screwed that up. So French President Emmanuel Macron says, look, India, you're leading BRICS. We're leading the GC. We'll closely coordinate innovation together. That's a clear message to Trump, and also a clear message to Trump in there is we're working now with the whole world to focus on these security guarantees and focusing on ending hostilities. While you're silent, Donald, about American factories getting destroyed, the rest of the world is going to take a leadership approach. And it's not a coincidence that in the same day French President Emmanuel Macron posted about his conversation with Modi, the Prime Minister of India, he also posted his conversation with President Lula of Brazil. Donald Trump has just completely shattered America's relationship with Brazil. He continues to do the most offensive things towards Brazil's sovereignty. But French President Emmanuel Macron picks up the phone, speaks to President Lula of Brazil, and says the same thing, basically, which is following the meeting held on Monday in Washington, I reiterated the need to defend multilateralism and its central role in achieving a just and lasting peace in Ukraine, with strong security guarantees for Ukraine and the security of Europe. With a view to the COP30, which will take place at the end of 2025, we took stock of major global issues, particularly environmental matters and the fight against poverty. And it goes on to talk about bilateral cooperation. So what Macron is saying there is he left DC and now he's speaking with Lula, who Trump's attacking, about multilateralism when Trump's against multilateralism. France is asserting its role in the world. And on the same day, Macron talks about his conversation with King Abdullah of Jordan. Remember when Donald Trump had that meeting in the Oval Office with King Abdullah back in February, and Trump says, Gaza is mine. I'm taking it. I don't even have to buy it. Gaza belongs to me. I'm going to build hotels on it, and I am going to kick out every Palestinian from Gaza. You remember the meeting in February? We covered it here on the MeidasTouch network. But here Macron says the following. We share the same conviction, which is as follows. The military attack that Israel is preparing in the Gaza Strip will only lead to real catastrophe for both peoples and will drag the region into perpetual war. We believe the only way to end this war is achieving a permanent ceasefire in the Gaza Strip, releasing hostages, delivering humanitarian aid to the residents of Gaza Strip on a large scale, disarming Hamas, deploying an international mission to establish stability in the Gaza Strip, working towards formulating a political solution that meets the aspirations of both Israel and Palestinian people equally. France will co-chair with the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia the international conference on implementing the two-state solution to be held in New York in an effort to make progress in this regard. In other words, showing actual leadership. And I'm not sure if you saw the new study, Israeli military intelligence, that just came out, that 83 to 85% of the deaths in Gaza and in Palestine were completely just that even Israel knows that 83 to 85% were civilians and totally innocent people. That's their own assessment of what's taking place, which is just horrific. It's an atrocity. And what's Donald Trump doing? Silent about this all. Anyway, everybody, hit subscribe. Let's get to 6 million. Thanks for watching.
Want to stay plugged in? Become a subscriber to our Substack at MeidasPlus.com. You'll get daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, ad-free episodes of our podcast, and more exclusive content only available at MeidasPlus.com.